Good morning. Welcome back to the homestead. As you can kind of see from my table arrangement here, I've got you zoomed in so you can't see my tomato mess as much. We are swimming in tomatoes. The big push before fall is on. I've been processing tomatoes for 3 days. I've canned stewed tomatoes, tomato juice. I'm getting ready to can spaghetti sauce, and before that, I'm processing some cherry tomatoes. And we've already done the cherry tomatoes with the basil and the garlic and pickled them. So I thought I would just make a quick video for somebody who does have a dehydrator. You can do this in the oven though, just in case. A quick way to use up when you have an abundance of grape or cherry tomatoes. First of all, always keep a bucket handy for your tomato scraps. I've dumped this bucket out like 4 times so far. All I'm doing, I've got my tray set up. I don't have any screen here. It's just the regular trays. I'm making sure each tomato is good and clean. These are going straight from the garden to the dehydrator because, I keep everything as clean as possible. I'm slicing them in half. I'm putting them on each tray. Hopefully I have enough to fill the entire dehydrator. I'm hoping I'm not saying incubator. I keep trying to switch them because, I use both. The dehydrator, and you can season these if you want to. You don't necessarily have to because as they dry, the flavor actually gets more intense and they're really, really yummy. You can store them in a airtight bag like the Food Saver bags. You can store them in olive oil. I actually have 1 jar left over from last year from the olive oil. Sorry, messy or loud back in the background. These, I may just put in a jar at least half of them, because I think I'm probably just going to eat them right out of the jar as a treat for at least a while, especially in the dead of winter whenever Mama's really missing my garden and missing my tomatoes. I think I'm really going to enjoy these. But they're excellent with pasta. They're excellent. There's just so many different ways. If you want to look it up and look up your own or come up with your own ideas. But this is a great way to preserve them without using a lot of space. And they should last you until next season, unless you eat them all at once. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can. So anyway, I'll do a few just to show you, but it's pretty simple stuff. It's not a big deal at all. This is a black cherry. This is one of my favorites. I just love the color. Can you see it? I hope it's focusing on you because I really can't tell. This one, that's not a sun gold. This is a honeycomb. And it was delicious too. I definitely grow both of these. I grow the black cherry anyway. The honeycomb, this was my first year for it. And as you can tell by looking at my tray, it's a prolific producer, plenty of tomatoes. We've eaten so many. We've canned some. I've thrown some in with other tomatoes I'm processing. Great plants. And I think I maybe only have, I planted 6 of these honeycomb tomatoes. And, they've done fantastic. So we will certainly grow them again next year. Here's another one of the black cherry. I don't think this one's quite as dark. It's a little green still, but still good. Still good. Here's one that's further along. The color, it's just beautiful. Look at that. Big difference between the two. Bottom of the bowl's been in there a little bit longer. Anyhow, you can salt them. You can season them. This would be good with cream cheese. Oh my goodness, there's just so many ideas. You can rehydrate them and throw them in with your chili or your pasta. Definitely going to have a lot of enjoyment out of these in the year to come, if they last that long. We probably have a couple more weeks of production from my full-size tomato plants, my slicers. They're working their way down. Green beans are just about done. But these cherry tomatoes, unless they get storm damage or bug damage or something that really happens to them, to damage them, it should be pretty close to another month's worth of production out of them. Here where we are. Here's another little one. I have no clue what this is. This plant, this seed was mixed in with all my other seeds. I've never grown it before. I didn't order it. It is the cutest little teeny tiny. Look at the comparison of size. Look at that. It's the cutest little teeny tiny, super tasty red. I don't even know if you would call that a cherry. It's so tiny. Tomato. Look at that. I might try to save the seed off of a few, but they're not really, they're so tiny. It's almost not worth it to take up the space in the garden for the plant, other than just the novelty of it. But they do have a good flavor. All right, y'all, you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm sure this is old hat to most of you, but I wanted to share this just in case somebody was trying to think of an easy way to save their cherry tomatoes without having to freeze them, which of course changes the texture and everything, without having to can them. Here you go. Just throw them in your dehydrator or throw them in your stove. For me, I think the lowest setting on my oven is 200 degrees, I believe. So that's what I would have to put it on, and I would just monitor how long it takes. I'm not exactly sure how long it will take for these. It's always different depending on the variety, depending on the moisture, and as you can see, these have a lot of good juice in them. But it will take some time. Just monitor it. Check them every couple hours, and when it's not tacky, but not crispy, unless you want them crispy, pull them on out. All right, guys, have a great day on the homestead. Do what you can right where you are. And always remember Psalms 34, verse 8. Have a great day.